Booker in Phoenix. Shannon, put on your prediction hat. How does this one play out?
Hell, I'm trying to figure out why he want to go back to Houston. Maybe the nightlife is a lot better than what it is in Philly.
No, they say he's got family there and he's comfortable. That's his ultimate comfort zone.
Hell, move. Yeah. When you got that kind of money, hell, move him to Philly or move him wherever else you go, Skip. My thing is, if you can't win a championship with Joel Embiid, how the hell you going to win a championship with a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds?
I mean, unless they get Wembanyama tonight.
I don't care if they get Wembanyama, they can get to Wimbledon. They not winning no championship with James Harden and Wembanyama or whoever else they got. Okay, Phoenix makes sense. Okay, James Harden, but I'm trying to figure out. James Harden plays the best when he's the number one option. He gonna be third option. It's gonna be Book, KD, Book, James Harden. Ain't no way around that. And then that means you go Chris Paul, okay, get rid of Chris Paul, okay, I ain't got no problem with that. DeAndre Ayton, I ain't got no problem with that either. You should have signed DeAndre Ayton to an extension. Yeah. Therefore, you could have traded him. Yeah. But because you didn't and you waited to the 18th hour, you had to match the offer sheet that Indiana Pacers put on him, even though you know you didn't want him, but you didn't want to lose him for nothing. Yeah. He's going to probably be out of it this year. Okay. Now, Skip, let's just say for the sake of argument, the thing what I just said happens. They lose Chris Paul, they lose DeAndre Ayton. You're a small team. But what about rebounding? Now, we done saw this scenario. We saw this scenario a couple of years ago in Brooklyn. Kyrie is skilled offensively. Yep. Maybe Books, they had a debate. Yep. KD is KD, James Harden. I don't see him taking another pay cut because Skip, he said he took a pay cut. He said, when asked about his financial sacrifice that led the Sixers, Arden said, stuck to we lost in the second round, so what? That's why I tell you guys, you see, James Harden took a pay cut and it didn't result in the title. You gave them money. Okay, let me get that. Yeah. Because there ain't no guarantee if I give you money back or I take less money, we gonna win in the end. So I might as well just go ahead and make my pockets fat because if we lose in the second round, my pocket's fat. Yeah. We win it all, my pocket's fat. So ain't no win. I'm a win-win. Ain't no lose in this situation for me. So with that being said, Skip, look, I get it. It's being reported now that he and Doc don't see eye to eye, and Ramona Sherborne is important. Say I don't really see James coming back to play for Doc. Yeah. Maybe that's a situation I might be willing to come back to Philly, but Doc needs to leave. I don't. But Skip, the only scenario that possibly makes sense to me, if he doesn't stay in Philly with Joel Embiid, because I think it's great to pick and roll. They've had so much. I mean, Joel Embiid has led the league in points and scoring the last 2 years. James Harden again led the league in assists.
He did.
Would be Phoenix. Houston makes no. Skip, I get it. Home, he's comfortable, bruh. Comfortable is a great place to be. But nothing ever grows in a comfort zone. Okay. So do you want to win a title, or do you want to, I'm sure Tillman Fertitta know the man very well. I'm sure he'd love to have you back. But you're not going to win.
To me, you're not going to win in largest part because of him. Because he is not him.
He the reason, huh?
Yeah, he's the reason. Okay, I'm going to start with this from the start, and you brought it up. My friend Ramona Shelburne at ESPN reported that she has a source inside the Sixers who made it very clear that it's hard now to see James coming back to play for Doc.
What is it, Skip?
Okay, this came out. This was both out of the blue. I said, what? Are you kidding me? A guy who quit his way out of Houston to get to Brooklyn and quit his way out of Brooklyn, you can argue for all the right reasons. Right. One step ahead of the disaster that it became.
Correct.
To get to Philly, to reunite with the guy who just worships him and Daryl Morey. Now he wants to go back to his old stomping grounds in Houston because he can't live with Doc Rivers anymore. Are you kidding me? When is this league going to wake up and wise up and say, you know what, we're done with him? Because at some point, he's going to become more trouble than he's worth. Because I know he led the league in assists, but look at what happens regularly to him in the playoffs. He's either a choke artist or he's an evil genius who has the game on a string and decides, I don't think I want to win this game because I'm sick of Doc. Shannon, if you had told me going into the playoffs that he was sick of Doc Rivers already, I would say, there's no way I'm picking this team because this is a troubled basketball team. And it was, and it played like it when push came to shove against the Boston Celtics.
Let me tell you why the NBA ain't going to say enough of this guy. Skip, there's 30 NBA coaches. Let's just say for this argument, there's 10 superstars. And also for this discussion, we say there are 10 stars.
Yeah.
So that's 20. So in other words, there are more coaches than there are James Harden, even if you don't believe James Harden is no longer a current superstar.
Yeah.
I think you put him in that star category right now. So that's why they'll continue to like jettison coaches to satisfy star and superstar players.
Shannon, in the 4 losses to Boston, he was
terrible.
3 of 24 from 3. That's 22%. I can't tell you how many turnovers I had to watch. Eyesore turnovers. It was, at times, it was beyond Russell Westbrook because it mattered so much. Russ in the regular season just goes crazy. I thought Russ actually played pretty well against Phoenix in the first round.
I think so, too.
As kind of the solo star because there was no Kawhi, no Paul George. And I was impressed because he played his tail off. Okay, James never plays his tail off. And James never looks like he's in enough shape to play his tail off because I don't think he's in any. Listen, he plays high minutes, and you would think his body would start to sort of shape up and look like an NBA player, and it never does to me because I don't think he ever gets in shape.
Skip, you know good and well you can't exercise a bad diet. I don't care how much you run.
You cannot. You absolutely. That's the tritest truism in all the world. You can't run it off. No. You just can't. If you eat poorly, it will get you.
Yeah, if you Skip, we seen, oh, man, he eat terrible. And he runs 30, 40 miles. You just skinny fat. That's all it is. No. Your body ain't going to tell no difference.
Hey, I can attest to that. Once upon a time when I was getting ready to train, I was training for the Boston Marathon, I was running 120 miles a week. Do the math on that. And I was eating horrible. I was eating everything in sight. Whatever desserts, I'd have 5 desserts.
But your bread,
I just
pasta,
ran 22 miles. Right? Okay.
Body fat went up, muscle content went down.
I look way better right now than I did then, and I'm not running any 120 miles a week. So you're exactly right. Whatever you are, what you put in your mouth, and he is putting the wrong things in his mouth on a nightly basis because he plays 35, 38 minutes. Yeah. Nope, you can't run it off.
Right.
That's not going to get any better because he's, what is he now, 33? I just looked this up.
You get older. Okay. You got to eat less or you got to work out harder. And sometimes you got to do both.
I think he's still 33, about to be 34. But the point is, if he's 33, he's the oldest 33-year-old in the league because he just looks, he plays old. He has lost his slither burst.
Yeah.
He's still incredibly gifted. His IQ's off the charts.
Yes.
He can see it, feel it. That he led the league in assists.
Right.
It helped to have that big monster, but again, he did that.
He did it.
And he lives off that. He's going to, that's his cachet to go to the next stop. Where is he ever going to be happy? And where does it end? All's well that ends well. Where has it ever ended well?
And plus, Houston is closer to Vegas.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, but Philly is close to Atlantic City. You can just go to Atlantic City, but I guess Atlantic City doesn't have the same pizzazz as Vegas. Atlantic City was supposed to be Vegas of the East.
Yeah. Shannon, he's a playoff nightmare. And it didn't just start this year. He has a long history of this. You can go way back, and we don't have time. I don't want to just beat him over the head. But there have been so many collapses, epic fails in big games, closeout games. You got a chance. No, you don't got a chance.
Right.
They're still looking for him in Houston. There's an APB still after James Harden about that Game 6 loss to my Spurs.
Right.
There's no Kawhi and there's no Tony Parker, and you do that?
Yeah. I mean, comfortable. I'm not, only time I'm trying to get comfortable is when I retire. I want to be somewhere comfortable. Yeah. But when I'm working,
hey,
I'm not looking for comfort.
Hey. He makes so many boneheaded turnover mistakes that you sit back and you say, are you trying to lose the game?
Right.
Seriously. There were times I wondered against Boston, are you trying to screw this up? Are you trying to sabotage somebody?
It might be in his mind. I mean, it might be in his mind now, Game 6s and Game 7s, because it happens with such regularity, with such frequency. You're like, ain't no way a great player like this can play this bad in this many elimination or closeout games. How is that possible? You got to be able to have one, Skip, where you just turn the lights out the building.
Okay. Yet in Game 1 at Boston and Game 5 at Boston, he did that.
He did.
And he did that.
Yeah.
And you say, well, he's still capable of doing that. Well, then, wait a second. You got to close out Game 6 at home, and he goes 4-16. Then you go back to Boston, and he goes 3 of 11. Okay. It's inexplicably bad to the point you say, are you just choking? Or are you down on Doc, so down that you're done with Doc? Where does it stop? At some point, you know how this league is. At one point, if everybody starts looking sideways at each other, like, you going to do this or you going to do this? At some point, they're going to say, nobody's going to do this. We're done with him.
Right.
Because as skilled as he still is, still capable of hitting a walk-off shot in game 1 and a big shot in overtime in game 5, I wouldn't want him on my team. I don't think you can win around him as one of your central figures on your team. He sends all the wrong messages to young players. So go back to Houston with that young team. Listen, Ime Udoka is the truth. I know he went through his issue. I got that, and I accept that, and I believe he paid his price. But
he paid more than the price.
Okay, you got it. He's the new head coach in Houston of a young team. Who knows? Maybe they hit the lottery tonight and they got the big fella. What is he, 7'5" tall? Maybe they got him. Maybe they got a chance to really go places. But can you imagine James being coached by Ime? Because Ime does not play. I know what he is. He is inside and out a defense-first basketball coach, and I still say Boston isn't quite the defensive team they were last year, but Jason and Jalen they just keep getting better and better so they can lift you up. They can. But Ime instilled a work ethic on defense, a mentality on defense that is equal to what Mark Jackson did for Golden State in his early days coaching Steph and Clay. So, again, can you imagine Ime coaching James? Whew. That'd be do not invite him. That wouldn't last very long.
He's going back out there. Hey, I know you're going to have one of them going back home parties.
Yeah.
I'll be right up in there.
Would you?
Yeah, sure.
You should take your, you know what, with you.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking that off for sure. Yeah. Play a little corky feet.
Would you? Okay. Well, James would have a couple of bottles.
Yeah, I'm going up in that thing. Yeah. I heard he put on a night little party.
I'm sure he would.
Be right there.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck.
Hollywood, get ready. We're going